Chutti Mithran. In today's chess video, I'm going to be showing you a chess game that was played by Andrey Esipenko versus Sergey Karjakin. Sergey Karjakin, who is playing from the white pieces, opens the game with the move pawn to e4, pawn to c6, the Caro Kann defense is on the board, knight to f3, developing the knight and pawn to d5. Black strikes in the center, knight to c3, adding more defense to the e4 pawn and bishop to g4. So now attacking this knight, h3 and black eliminates the knight. Bishop takes f3, queen takes f3 and here knight to f6. Pawn to d3, defending this e4 pawn and pawn to e6. Bishop to d2, developing the bishop and queen to b6. So black puts pressure on this b2 pawn, queenside castle and d4. Attacking this knight, knight to e2, pawn to c5 and here you can see that white's pieces are not active. His pieces are really boxed in. So to do that, first white must play e5. He must open up some lines. Knight d5 was played in this position and knight to f4, trying to dislodge the knight away from d5. Knight to b4, now attacking this a2 pawn and here king to b1. And this was the most crucial position of the game. Pause the video for a few minutes and try to take advantage of this position. Well, after king to b1, this e5 pawn is very weak. Knight d7 was played, so black wants to play knight captures c5. So after queen to e4, black simply played knight to c6 and now there is simply no defense against knight captures c5. So there is really nothing for white to do to defend this pawn. Knight to h5 was played and the idea is after knight c captures c5, f4, white will attack the knight. Knight to c6 and after pawn to f5, pawn to e5. For the price of one pawn, white did get something started here. His pieces are very active. He can play g4, bishop to g2, put pressure along this diagonal. And after knight to h5, you shouldn't play knight captures c5. If your opponent's pieces come into life for the price of one single pawn, you shouldn't capture it. Development is more important than material. Queenside castle, not attacking this e5 pawn, f4 and now pawn to c4. A pawn sacrifice by Andrew, d captures c4, bishop to a3, threatening queen captures b2 checkmate, defending this b2 pawn, knight to c5, attacking this queen and after queen to f3, once again pause the video and try to come up with the one and only way for black to continue this attack. Well, after queen to f3, you have brought in all your pieces into the game, pawn to d3. And now this queen cannot play queen captures a3. So after d3, white is forced to close lines with c captures d3. If you play bishop captures d3, then after bishop takes b2, knight to a4 and there is no defense against queen takes b2. So after d3, c captures d3, now knight to a4 was played, threatening bishop takes b2 which will be lethal, rook to d2 and knight to d4. So black brings in all of his pieces into the game, queen to f2 and now knight to c3 check, king to a1 and pause the video for the final time in the position and try to come up with the absolute best move in this position. Well, after king to a1, so you simply play queen to b3. The idea is you want to bring your knight into the game with knight captures b3. And after queen to b3, there is simply no defense. White played b captures c3, but let's see what happens after a captures b3. Black will play knight captures b3 and what a beautiful checkmate. This knight is covering this b1 and a2 square and this knight is simply giving a check to the king. So after queen to b3, if you play b captures c3, then queen to b1 is immediate checkmate. B captures c3 was played, queen captures c3 giving a check and now if you play king b1, then queen takes c1 is a checkmate. Bishop to b2, bishop captures b2, rook captures b2 and queen to c1. Rook to b1 check and now for you to win the game you must play knight c2 check and this king cannot go anywhere. Queen takes c2, queen takes c2 and black has simply won a free queen. So after queen takes c2, this is a resignable position but white chose to continue. He plays g3, he wants to develop something and after g3, b5. So the idea is if black plays rook captures b5, then black can simply play king to c7. He will play rook to b8 very soon. So after b5, a captures b5, and now rook to d4, and it was in this position that Sergey Karjakin resigned the game. Why did he resign the game? Well, after rook to d4, you have not developed any of your pieces. Let's say you go for knight captures g7. Well then, after rook to a4, you are threatening rook captures a2 checkmate, rook to b2, queen c1, rook to b1, and after queen c3 check, rook to b2, you play rook to b4, and now there is no checkmate defense against queen captures b2. You may play rook to h2, but even then, after queen c1 check, rook b1, rook captures b1 is a beautiful checkmate. If you like our video, please do subscribe to Chutti Mithran channel and press the bell icon to get immediate notification on our new videos. Please do like, share your valuable comments in the comment box below. Thank you and have a great day, friends.